Okay, we're officially live, gentlemen.
Hey, y'all.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
We're saying good morning to nobody so far.
No, I'm saying it to you.
Oh, to me, right. Good morning as well, also, too.
Okay, yeah.
Is it up there, Josh?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay. We'll give it a couple minutes, let people filter in. Hopefully it's not too early. It might be too early this time, but we're testing things.
So which one are we doing today?
Episode 4, yes.
London ice cream parlor.
Yes, sir, Bell London.
London. Probably should have watched it once.
You don't remember?
I mean, I don't remember every part of it, that's for sure.
It's a super short one. All right, we got 3 viewers. What's up, everybody? As in the 3 people that joined. Good morning, good morning. We're just letting people join here for a minute or two before we jump into the video. And there's a bit of news for those who don't follow us on Instagram. So we'll chat about that briefly as well.
How many do we have still? The 3?
Yep, we're just sitting at 3. At least that's what it shows on my streaming app. I don't know if YouTube is more up to date, but... Oh, but yeah. How's everybody Sunday morning going? Everybody good? Chilling?
Chilling. Just woke up not too long ago. Talking to me? Or are you talking to them, dude?
I'm talking to everybody. Whether it's you guys, whether somebody wants to jump in the chat, I'm talking to everybody.
You know, it's been a good morning so far. And even better seeing your beautiful faces.
That is true.
All right, we'll give it like 1 more minute or so before we start digging into everything. I hope the volume's okay too. I really, I wish Eric was here. I don't like running the live streams.
Caden9 Allen said, hey at everyone, we are live right now on our YouTube if you want to join us. YouTube.com.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it either, to be honest.
It's just a lot of pressure, Yeah. Jumping screens, making sure everybody can hear everything.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure those naked pictures that Desmond sent me don't pop up. I don't want anybody to see Desmond naked on my screen.
You put them
You guys want to see me naked?
Huh? You just upload them from your phone.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to save them. I put them in the drive. All right. We still only got 4 people, but we've been going for 3 minutes, so it's probably best for us to jump in. But welcome, everybody, to another Ogden Paranormal live stream. Appreciate you jumping on with us. We will be reviewing episode 4, which is the haunted London ice cream parlor, former London ice cream parlor on 25th Street. I believe it's still the Philly cheesesteak shop.
Pepitos?
Yeah,
Pepitos?
Pepitos. I haven't really paid attention driving past it, but that's what it was when we went there. It was a Philly cheesesteak shop. But the history of the building was it was actually formerly a brothel that was owned by a very famous woman here in Ogden, Utah. Her name was Belle London. She was the most famous madame that we had. I guess she ran a very clean and professional brothel. She always said if she was going to do it, she was going to make sure that her girls were very well taken care of, and it was going to be the cleanest and best experience for everybody involved. So much so that our capital city, Salt Lake, actually hired her to come down and try to build like legal, better brothels in their area. So she's actually a big part of our history, and this was one of the buildings that she owned. She used to own a lot more that were back behind this building, but they've since been torn down. So that's a little bit of the background on the building. Before we jump into the episode, we do have some news. For those that join these often enough, you'll notice Eric is not on the screen. If you can even see our little mini faces down in the corner. No Eric, as you can see as I expand the screen. But Eric has chosen to leave the group. It's not because of any scary demonic attacks or ghost attacks or anything like that. It's simply because his wife had another child. and he got a big promotion at work or some kind of a bump at work to where he's more busy. So he just doesn't have the time or the bandwidth to do it anymore. But we're totally understanding of that. Family comes first. We appreciate Eric, everything he did. He did run the live streams, so this might be rough. This is my first time running the live stream. For that, we miss you, Eric. Come back to the live streams. But no. So Eric is no longer part of the group. We are looking potentially for somebody who can help with video editing. So if anybody has any interest in either just helping with video editing or joining the group as well alongside video editing, definitely feel free to reach out to us. But outside of that, you guys ready to kick off the video?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Just to give them an idea, this is the shit we're dealing with right here. My head is in the floorboards. That is the only way to stand up down here. This is where Desmond's at. We're all squatting down trying to make this work. Quote unquote basement, huh?
Yeah.
That was a crawl space.
Honestly, it was.
That was the worst one.
This whole investigation was
when you consider all the history
something.
through Ogden's
Yeah.
historic 25th Street,
We didn't think we
you might
got
assume
anything.
it would be quite difficult to make a name for yourself.
It's one of those nights.
Many stories are left only to folklore, as the lawlessness that swept through the city in the early 1900s took place just below the surface. And yet, one woman stood out, and one of the buildings on 25th Street adorns her name to this day. That woman was Dora B. Topham, aka Belle London. Belle gained notoriety as the Madame of Ogden's infamous red light district, Electric Alley. She controlled Electric Alley and 2-Bit Street, along with her numerous other businesses. It was Belle London who created the corridor on 25th Street to give direct access into the heart of Electric Alley and direct access to her brothels.
Yeah, a little bit of information there really quick. There is another building on the opposite side of that tunnel as well that Belle London also owned that we were hoping to investigate, but it fell through. But supposedly that one's even more haunted than this one. But she had quite a wide reach of buildings that she owned on that stretch of 25th Street. So pretty cool for a woman of that time to have that much power.
Yeah.
Pretty gangster.
Electric Alley was hidden behind the decent businesses of 25th Street. The misdeeds of society tucked away in gambling houses and brothels. This one city block concealed much of the wrongdoing from the public eye. Cribs, as they were called, housed the sex workers along Electric Alley. The majority of these cribs were owned by Belle London. And while she wasn't necessarily proud of the line of business she was in, she always ran a clean business and tried to dissuade any women who came to her looking for work. While the railroad sparked Ogden's boom, it also brought along much of the crime. Little Chicago, as it was coined at the time, was too dangerous for a lot of people, most notably Al Capone. It's this rich history that continues to draw us back to 25th Street, regardless of ghost stories or supposed hauntings. There has to be a lot of energy that still resides here, and we want to find it.
She kind of has like a Breaking Bad vibe to her. You know what I mean? Like she was dissuading women from even doing it, wanted to run it super clean if she was going to do it, but she had to make money somehow, so she just went the illegal route but tried to do it the best and cleanest way possible. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think.
Yep.
Also, one thing the viewers don't know is we were locked out of this building for like an hour and a half in like 20-degree weather to start this investigation. The owners refused to text us back, wouldn't call us back. We were just standing out in the freezing cold, not knowing what to do. Finally, he was like, yeah, drive to my house and get the keys. We're like, but we're here. And he's like, okay, but come get them. So then we had to drive like 10 minutes away to go back to get the keys, an hour and a half late, drive all the way back. It was a bit of a mess just even getting into this place. It was a weird night all around.
It was so weird. I remember when we were trying to book this investigation too. It was like nonstop trying to get a hold of this guy, and
Yeah,
he wouldn't get a hold. It was a mess.
I forgot all of that even happened, bro.
Yeah,
That's funny.
you were the most mad about us waiting outside, which I don't blame you. It was freezing cold. It was rough. And then we found out the basement was just a crawl space with a ton of dirt. So we're like, all right, this isn't what we thought it was, but we'll make the best of it.
Yeah.
And this building is a lot smaller than it looks when you have that many people in there.
Yeah.
That part was pretty cool.
Mhm,
Yeah, it
so
was freaking
clean.
sick.
Yeah, we had to patch that hole in the floor that we cut. It was pretty crazy.
Oh, I freaking nailed my head in this episode, I think.
Yeah, you did. And I think we all got the black lung from the crawl space as well. But
Oh yeah.
do it for the ghosties.
Weird flash.
Yeah, see, like, I feel like we need to come up with another name for stuff that looks like that. Like, the ones that move similar to dust, sure, call them an orb. But, like, that dust doesn't just flash a bright flash of light in one frame and then disappear. Like, it will show, like, a movement and, like, dance across the screen. So, like, I hate that orb is just, like, a stupid term that crams, like, 15 different potential things into one, and it bugs me.
Yeah.
That's an anomaly. That's what I would call that.
Yeah, or like ball of energy. I mean, I call it a ball of light, but I hate that it's always just, oh, it's an orb. Orbs are fake. It's just like an easy way to get out of it, but I don't know. It's definitely not like the most incredible piece of evidence, but I still think it needs to have its own thing, separate from the ones that potentially look like dust and shit and stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff, guys. We're live. Stop.
First off, we would like to say we're not here to disrespect, to cause any trouble, or to harm anybody. We just have some questions we would like to ask, and if you are able to answer them, we would love to hear what you have to say. So to start off, Madame Belle London, are you here with us?
I couldn't really hear it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a little quiet. I wasn't great at turning up the audio back then. I could hear it, but the cool thing with that one is we did have the Faraday cage on. So for those that don't know, a Faraday cage, you put it around the spirit box to cut out radio interference. So a lot of times we do that and literally no sounds come through, which is probably a good indicator that a lot of times the ghost box can be a little bit fluky unless it's like a very distinct voice that comes through. But that Faraday cage helps cut that out, and that's why these responses are a lot better, because that night, I don't know if you guys remember, but the ghost box was so slow. It was quiet for a long time. We were to the point where like maybe the Faraday cage is cutting the ghosts out too, because we had never really used it before. But getting responses with it on there kind of shows like the validity a little more than just trying to pick through radio stations and come up with phrases and stuff.
Is there anybody here with us? Who's that? Who's that? Tens. What's that? Wasn't you. What the hell was that?
I think we show. Oh.
Is there anybody? Is there anybody?
I would just like to note a big loud bang happens in a haunted building, and we didn't immediately start screaming and running in circles and panic and act like we're under attack. Like Jocelyn calmly walks over there with the camera to check it out, and the rest of us are like, hey, let us know what happens. Like, whenever people watch these other ghost shows, if every single time they go investigating, they're screaming and running in circles and panicking and frantic, that should be a red flag for you guys. Like, every now and then, sure, things can get scary. Like, that's normal. But if they do it every single time, that's likely that they're just trying to gas it up for YouTube or for views or whatever it may be. Like, this is what a normal paranormal investigation team would do, is just slowly go over there and check out the area to see what happened. It's not always the end of the world and we're all being attacked by demons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to give Jocelyn a shout out on this because he just calmly walks over there to check the area out while the rest of us stayed back. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, like, and that's what bugs me so bad about it is you have like all these YouTube videos with hundreds and thousands of these views, and it's like, you know, okay, I clicked this video because I want to see a ghost hunt, so I get into the video, and all of a sudden a bang happens, and then now I'm just watching 5 people run away screaming at the top of their lungs. Like, if you want to, like, what we do, like we say, like, we're real paranormal investigations with real evidence. This is what a real paranormal investigation is. Something happens, you're going to go towards it, and you're going to figure out what's going on. You're not about to run away and just scream for the camera. So
yeah. Yeah, there's getting scared videos and there's investigation videos.
Yeah. There's times you get scared enough you don't want to go in that room or you don't want to go over and chase the noise, but
Yeah. But like,
it's pretty rare.
yeah,
Honestly, it's an ISO thing.
legitimately, how many times have we like been scared so bad that we ran away from something?
Not a whole lot. I remember one time
Yeah.
it happened to me, but
Yeah, but even then, it was an ISO. You were alone,
ISO different.
yeah.
and you went right back to the area. And it wasn't like you were like frantically like panicking. Like, you still stayed there for a minute to try to figure out what was going on, and then you just walked out of the area and ran up the stairs.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, you just see so many other these videos where everything is like screaming, running. Oh my gosh, things are being thrown. Oh, I'm scratched. Like, I don't think any of us have ever even had a scratch appear during an investigation. We've been doing this for 10 years. Like, it's just, these are very rare instances that these groups are trying to tell you are happening every single time they go out, even when they go to these tiny locations that nobody's ever heard of. Like, it just, we gotta be there. Again, going back to like how we need a different word for orbs and like balls of energy, there needs to be a different YouTube designation for paranormal investigation and I got scared in a haunted building.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're two very different things. So, anyways, and rant. Back to the video.
That's the ice machine.
Simply unexplained.
Nice.
Can you tell us your name?
That's actually pretty crazy.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I probably should have turned up the volume more again. 'Cause, you know, past Tony really needs to figure out this editing stuff. But asking if there's anybody there in an old brothel and you get a playful girl voice come through and say Molly while in a Faraday cage. Again, like that whole cycle just makes that piece that much cooler.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the audio we got here really referenced back to the time as a brothel. Like, it all had that kind of like, I don't know, flirty vibe to a lot of them, or at least a couple of them, which was interesting. We do have 2 things in the chat. Eric said he agreed. I don't know what you agreed with, Eric. Sorry. It came through a minute ago. But yes, thanks, Eric. And then Wellho K said, that's true. Those are two different things. I think he's referencing the ice machine and the bang. But yeah, that's, I mean, again, going back to how we try to be, legit paranormal investigators, we went through and found another clip of the ice machine sound to make sure that if we put this in the episode, we're not just putting the ice machine in for you guys to think, oh, they heard a loud bang. And I think doing that due diligence, it might seem a little bit boring in the episode for a split second, but we'd rather prove to you guys, we're not BSing you. We're not making sounds for the sake of this or being confused by normal building sounds. Here's two sounds. You guys decide. So,
Yeah.
But apparently if you want to be a big YouTuber, you got to fake it. So we'll probably stop doing that. We'll just start faking evidence. What do you guys think?
I'm good.
We need the subs, guys. Come on. Just kidding. Okay, back to the video.
Can you tell us what year it is?
What street are we on right now?
Did you die here?
Again, quickly want to just reference, that's what the Faraday cage does. Normally with a ghost box session, you will hear blips of the radio come through. And honestly, in a city city setting like that, you'll hear quite a bit of interference come through, and you literally heard no sound whatsoever that entire time. So that kind of just goes back to the couple responses we did receive. That's not radio interference. We proved to you, we went through the full scan quite a few times right there, just showing you nothing else was coming through. So, Also, Blacktree says, hello, Blacktree. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining.
Welcome.
Hello. It's a really good piece right there.
Yeah, it goes back to the one we got on the ghost box, the Molly Playful one. And then a little bit later, we get an actual EVP that says "Kiss Me" in a former brothel.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
really
as
cool.
I was approaching that counter, you had that one that came through and said like "Hi," all drawn out like that too, kind of,
Yeah, so like maybe that was their little area. Like apparently the kitchen was a hot spot. Unfortunately, one thing the episode doesn't really show is the kitchen was very loud, so we didn't spend a lot of time in there because all the fridges and stuff were going off. So, but yeah, I think when you can say, "Oh, we're in a brothel," and then you get two playful, flirty responses, that's really cool and really valid. Like it's not an quote unquote intelligent response as like so much so as like answering a specific question, but when we know we're in a spot where prostitutes used to wander through the building and live in the building and we get flirty responses, that's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
And even if it was like, even if all of our audio responses were on like the ghost box or whatever, like say we got a few of them here, like what are the chances that out of all of those stations you're scanning and for however long you're doing it, like the only real responses you get are these flirty ones? You know what I mean? Like, It's just, I mean, sure, there's always chance of the coincidence, but really, like, what is that chance? You know what I mean? What's the percentage on that?
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
Come back up.
I think so.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the tour.
Going back up the hopper.
Usually the basements go all the way to the back of the building, but I don't know why it's all blocked off. It's weird.
And there's much more room.
What do you guys think? Looking back now, how do you feel about that anomaly we included?
I think we were desperate for an episode.
I think I could have had better stuff in there. Yeah. The night was slow. It was a slow night. It felt
was.
like it was just dragged out. We were there till like 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put in a ton of effort. I do applaud us for when it was dead silent in there for 6 straight hours. We're like, well, we need to turn around a video, so we're not leaving until something cool happens. And it never did, but we tried. We tried.
I was terrified when I did that ISO in the back corner. Honestly, I got pretty scared down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Well,
that... Go ahead,
It's
Des.
scary because you don't know if like that back's gonna collapse on you or if
Gotta
something's
crawl
gonna
out.
fall on you. Yeah, so that was scary.
It was claustrophobic for sure. That's one thing.
That led out the back.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we didn't really show the stairs, but there was an old staircase that had been boarded over, and that's what Caden's referencing. We all did ISOs back there, but nothing came of it, so we didn't include any of the footage. But it's kind of weird. You're like sitting in a sand pit by an old staircase in a very claustrophobic, like, I mean, it's only like a foot or two above your head is the floor. It was a little weird. It felt like being buried alive almost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and I wish I could say it was worth it, but we got absolutely nothing from doing it. So and I think we were all coughing up dust for like 3 days afterwards. So, maybe hindsight, we probably shouldn't have been down there as much as we were, but we tried.
Yeah.
Life of a paranormal investigator.
It was small, dude. There was nowhere else to go.
Yeah, we tried. But I mean, the thing is, like, when we first saw the basement, I was kind of annoyed because I was like, this isn't really a basement, it's a crawl space. But when you think back to 25th Street's history of gambling and prohibition and stuff, like, there's still, a latch in the floor to get to a secret space under the building where it was comfortable to sit in there on a chair in the main area. Like Jocelyn and I, we have a clip of him and I just sitting there comfortably. So, like, if you're trying to do some illegal activities or, like, sneak in some alcohol or something, that's a good place to put it. You know what I mean? So, just because it's not a comfortable, like, basement like grounds for coffee or something doesn't mean it wasn't used for some kind of crazy illegal activity or there might be energy down there.
Yeah.
Do you think it had a floor though, or was it just all sand? Do you think it obviously was originally used as probably a regular basement. I think that sand was put there after.
I would think so, but I don't know why. I don't know why they would put sand in there or dirt or whatever it was. Unless they were.
Didn't they say they were like remodeling it and they kind of, I guess, bulldozed all that sand and dirt into that basement?
I don't know how they would have done that. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, legitimately don't know. But I still think, like I said, the basement, regardless of how weird it looks on camera, I still think there was a chance that it was used for the same illegal activities that every other building on 25th Street was back in the day.
Yeah. Is there anybody down here with us?
Desmond, you might need to get that tattooed on you, bro.
Right? I want to know. That's the question. Who's down here with us? And we got a response. Is there anybody down here with us? Is there anybody down here with us? Is there anybody down here with us?
There's someone there.
That is quiet.
It is quiet. Yeah.
It goes back to Jocelyn saying we were desperate for an episode. But it also shows that we're willing to post stuff even if we don't capture groundbreaking evidence because we want to show, like, this is still a night we spent investigating. There's still some evidence here, like a few EVPs, but it may not mean that we have an hour-long amazing episode like the high school where everything was happening all night, you know.
Yeah.
And that's another thing with other groups is like, if every single episode only shows that, that's not real, because there's plenty of nights like this. There's even nights where we haven't even reviewed the footage because it literally was so bad or the footage was ruined that we can't even use it. So again, take everything with a grain of salt with a lot of the big channels, because they need your guys' views, so they got to keep you entertained.
That's weird.
We got 2 of these too. See, not exact same scream, but we did catch 2 screams. Yeah, none of us heard any of that stuff that night. And those are loud.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And again, this building is very small. You can see the back of the building from the front door. There's no, well, I think there is an upstairs, but it was a lawyer's office, I believe, or something like that. So it was closed, obviously, that night. Nobody's up there. And then you saw the basement crawl space. Like, there's no way anybody else was in the building. None of us heard anything. So if somebody was outside screaming, you would have heard us react on camera like we did to the bang when I was like, what the hell was that? Like, we would go check this stuff out if we heard it. And that's 2 really loud screams that echo within the building, and none of us even flinch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. It's really good audio, though. I love when you can hear, like, the echo. And so, like, the whisper ones are all creepy and cool and whatnot when they're, like, tucked in behind the white noise. But when it sounds like it's in the room with you, that's the stuff that really raises up the hair on the back of your neck, because you're like, how in the hell did we capture a sound like this, but nobody heard it in real time?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's crazy to me. I personally love audio more than visual stuff, just because, like, the visual stuff's cool and that's what everybody wants to see. But, like, I mean, I know people can always wonder if we're faking any of this stuff, but just some of the communication we've received through EVP and some of the stuff we've caught on audio is just so insane to me. Like, that's the best evidence people can present, in my opinion.
It tells more of a story.
Yeah.
Video, it's only a flash of something. You don't know anything other than that.
Right. Unless you, like, physically see a full-bodied figure apparition that disappears. But even then, like, you always start to wonder, okay, did these people fake it? Or, you know what I mean? Or, like, was it some weird shadow in the room? Or did the camera glitch out? Or there's just so many other questions that come into it. That was creepy.
It seems so strange.
Need to make an entire video just around Caden's name coming through on investigations.
It'd be an hour-long episode.
Yeah. My name could sound like a lot of shit, though. Or stuff.
I just don't like my name, Desmond's name. I don't even think we've ever caught Jocelyn's name coming through, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think so.
So it's just weird. I mean, maybe you, but the thing is, you're also the one that says you feel the least. Like, every time we're somewhere, you don't feel anything. You've had the least experiences of anybody, and yet your name always comes through like you're somehow attached to the other side.
That's the only way. I guess I don't.
Did you have a near-death experience at some point that you didn't tell anybody about, and you're somehow like Attached?
I've been a few times, but I don't know about near death.
Oh, all right. Well, gentlemen, what are your thoughts looking back at the London Ice Cream Parlor?
Honestly, I thought it was a good investigation. We were locked in the whole night. Like you said, we were there from probably like 9:30, 10 to 3 in the morning with not a whole lot going on around us until we went back and reviewed all of our evidence. But everything kind of correlates to it being a formal brothel, a lot of female spirits coming through talking to us, and kind of the flirtatious way they were talking to us. So it was a good investigation.
I thought we did good.
Wouldn't go back though.
Yeah, we did good like as a team investigating. I don't think I don't think I would go back. Yeah, it was cool, but not worth it. Not worth the time and what we put into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we were still pretty early on in what we were doing. Just starting, kind of.
That's true. Any additional thoughts, Joss?
No, I hated the investigation. I remember not liking this one, but I mean, like listening back to all the cool audio evidence we got and stuff. Like, I mean, some of those growls and stuff. I mean, they're better than some audio we've caught in like months. I guess I don't know, like a long time since we caught anything crazy as that.
For sure.
Yeah.
What would you guys have done differently if we could go back and do it differently? What could we have improved upon?
Probably spacing out. We were all in the building pretty much the whole time. Although we were split up and being quiet, but we should have probably just exited the building, ISO'd more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree. I think that's the hard part. We investigate in the winter, which is very rare. We found out for paranormal investigators to do because of furnaces and like that. We can't just like walk out of the building. But I think one thing we desperately need to either like rent a U-Haul when we go to these places, or like, I mean, I'm looking into buying a van. So maybe by the time I get a van, we could have a spot to go outside and chill in. But we need somewhere, like Caden said, to where we can move 2 or 3 of us, go outside, and then you just have the building to 1 or 2 of you. So any other additional sounds, you don't have to wonder if it's somebody else. We did get a comment though. Jackie Miles says, sometimes if you go back to a location you've done the first time, the spirits recognize you and may interact with you a little more, which is a very good point.
Great point, actually.
It's the hard part too, though. To your point, Jackie, is like obviously this episode, as you could tell, was not very exciting to watch because we didn't catch a lot. So for us, it's like, do we go back and spend another 5 or 6 hours in the hopes that we can build upon that relationship and see if it can turn into a video, or do we just say this place is haunted, but maybe not haunted enough to, make episodes around and stuff like that, but we can recommend it to like local paranormal groups. And that's kind of like the hard balance we have to find, especially locally, because like everybody on historic 25th Street says their building is haunted, but is it haunted to the level of like the Goldfield High School and the Goldfield Hotel? Or is it just like, I've had a couple scary interactions, but I've been here for 15 years, Yeah. So it's always a really tough balance, but I definitely agree with what she's saying. I think that's something we've kind of seen it at Grounds, to be honest with you guys.
I think the more you're around them, they become more comfortable, for sure.
Yeah. Makes me wonder about Asylum 49 too. We've been there so many times. It starts to make you wonder if maybe that's why we get such good evidence there. It's because we're a familiar face. Familiar-ish. We haven't been there that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I agree with Caden. I think the biggest thing we could fix was just we need to find a way to... like smaller buildings are still haunted. Not every building is going to be a giant hotel, high school, hospital. So, and when they're old, the thing is you can hear somebody on the very top corner of the 3rd floor from the basement because there's no insulation. It's... you can hear everything. So that's one thing we ran into a lot with 25th Street, and I think we could fix is just finding a way to separate ourselves, whether it's 2 locations in one night, so we're completely, in 2 different spots, or again, renting a van or something of that sort to get us outside. But all in all, I mean, the evidence was solid. I'm happy with the audio.
Yeah.
I would honestly give it another shot.
I'd go back, but I'd probably try and go to somewhere new first.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not trying to talk you guys into going like next weekend. I'm just saying, like, I mean, overall, when you hear that kind of evidence, it's always cool. Like when we went back to Making Sense recently, and we were playing the audio we caught of the little boy in the basement for the little boy, trying to use it to bring him back out. Like, that was a really cool feeling. And I think it's the same thing here, like going in there and showing the spirits, we can hear you. You know, here's your voice we captured. Can you do it again? Kind of builds on Jackie's point of like, leverage what we caught before and then build on that relationship. And maybe over time it'll get crazier and crazier for us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Cool. Well, for those that missed it at the beginning, if you've come in late, again, you'll see Eric is not here. He has chosen to remove himself from the group due to family constraints, time constraints, which is totally understandable. He's still going to be in the next 2 episodes just because they are from the past. I don't think he gets punched in any of these, so so you guys don't have to deal with Eric going through that anymore. Just kidding, Eric. We love you, buddy.
Poor Rick.
But yeah, after those 2, Eric, you will no longer see Eric in or around the videos. But as we mentioned at the beginning as well, we are looking for potentially some help with video editing because we do want to expand upon some new ideas we have, and I'm the only editor we currently have. So if anybody has any editing interest or experience, or you know anybody that does that might want to help or possibly join the group, feel free to reach out to us. We could definitely use the help.
Yep.
Facts.
Cool. Outside of that, you guys have any parting thoughts?
No, thank you. Thank everybody for all your support. You guys mean the world for us, and we enjoy doing this, and we enjoy that you guys love what we do. So thank you for following us and being a part of this journey with us.
Facts.
It was so well said. There was no reason to go past that. Good job, Des. Well put.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We're going to cut the live stream. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Have a wonderful Sunday. Next week, we'll be back with regular videos. Next week will be the premiere of the first part, or like a teaser of the next episode. So, should be pretty good. Keep an eye out for that.